Hi. So, modern man have no real male role models or people to look up to. What do I mean by that? I'll explain. So, what I've noticed that in the last few years, or my generation, everyone born after the 2000s, in the mid to early 2000s, the late 2000s, we don't really have people to look up to. And while some might argue that, hey, it's a dad's job to provide that kind of support or show a person how to be a man or what it means to be a man. I'd argue that for the last 20 years or 25 years or so, it's actually social media and media in general that's been raising children and not the dads or not the parents in actuality actually. We get our personalities, our ethics, and our morals from a screen, and that's pretty evident if you go up to a random school and ask a random child there, who do you idolize or who do you want to be like when you grow up. They'll probably say someone like I don't know, Ronaldo, Messi, if it's the States, LeBron, Curry, or Einstein, someone mainstream, right? But what the trend I've noticed in the past few years is that the most famous or the most influential role models are entertainers. What type of entertainers, actors, musicians, and that's been the trend for last few years, right? And not all, but most modern entertainers, they are not good people. They are not good influences. I like to talk about music actually because how I like to define music is that it's a parasite for your soul. It destroys the soul, or however you define your inner consciousness. It can actually amplify it as well, but that's a different argument, that's a different video. We'll talk about it a bit later. But the most famous music right now is arguably rap music. And if you look at the lifestyles or the morals of the most famous rappers, they're not good morals. All they preach is hedonism, money, sex, and the like. Your value is perceived by how much money you have, how many girls you have, or how much drugs you do. And that's a message that's given to young children. And obviously, you can argue that young children can choose to read or learn about actually good people. But the thing is, the access is just not there. It's infinitely easier to just go onto YouTube. The first thing you'll see is a video of Drake or 21 Savage or Cardi or whoever these people are. I don't listen to rap music, I don't endorse it. I do listen to music, and that's something I'm pretty guilty of. I sound like a hypocrite, but yeah, rap's just not it. And it's not just me being a rap hater. I just detest the values they preach, and some people can argue that there's good kind of rap as well. There are people who talk about politics and identity, but let's be honest. Those kind of rappers also preach the same thing. You can just Google it. I'm not going to defend. I'm not going to argue about this. So this is not a hit list for rappers, but I'm just talking about modern role models. Who else influences us? Streamers, YouTubers. That's been the norm for the last 15 years. If you ask us, I remember that when I was in the fifth grade, our teacher asked us what you want to be when you grow up, and overwhelmed, I don't know how to pronounce it. A lot of us basically said YouTubers. Because why? Because we grew up watching PewDiePie, we grew up watching Jacksepticeye, we grew up watching Strappy Longhead, DenTDM, Smosh, Ryan Higa. I personally love Ryan Higa, the GOAT. Yeah, we grew up watching these people, and the shift I've noticed in the last 5 years or so that YouTubers aren't as relevant. Now it's up to streamers, and you can see how streamers work or how they operate. They promote the same kind of hedonism that I talked about rappers promoting. And let's talk about this as well. Our kids are being pushed into gambling and if and how to get girls, how to get hoes as they call it, and that's why people like Andrew Tate thrive. I'll talk about that as well. Let's just stay on topic for once. Yeah, so I was talking about streamers, right? These streamers, they promote a lot of gambling apps. You've probably noticed that if you go onto Instagram, everyone's promoting gambling apps. Why? Because they pay really well. Yeah, they pay really well, and that's the same with, and this thing, gambling has invaded every form of media possible. Like, I'm a big UFC fan, and every fighter I follow, they promote some kind of gambling app. Stake, OneBet, whatever. Um, Drake, the biggest rapper alive, he's probably a billionaire. I don't know, but I went to his Instagram page recently, and his bio had stake in it. Why is a billionaire being forced to promote these things? Simple, money. They pay a lot. And because of this, I've noticed my peers, and I live in Pakistan, a majority Muslim country. We are supposed to be conservative, but these kids were gambling. They were gambling in the back of class. I think I've talked about this in a previous video, but yeah, it made me super sad that why are they gambling? Why are these kids? And these were kids. They were in my university, and they were from a different city, so they were probably gambling away their parents' money that they probably gave their children to spend on their education, and they were gambling on, I think, some kind of F1 race. I don't remember, right? Yeah, that made me pretty sad. What else? Yeah, we were talking about Andrew Tate, right? So how do these people, these gurus, thrive when young men are lost, young guys are lost? They don't have someone to look up to, someone to give them a good moral character or a good value system. These guys just swoop in. They notice a gap in the market, and they say, "I'll teach you how to be a man. I'll tell you what being a man is." Because I think it's an innate desire for us to know how to be a man. I've noticed that in my circle, my friends. I don't know. Maybe it's just a thing limited to my interest. But yeah, I digress. And these people come in. They give you false hopes that, hey, you see these cars, you see these women. Yeah, follow me. I'll get these. I'll get these for you. All you have to do is do this. Buy my course. Models. These guys don't probably don't have good relationships with their own dad, right? And they grew up online and never got to know how to act. So these people see these shiny objects, and they get shiny object syndrome, and they start following these people and eventually adopt their views, and probably don't have their own thoughts. And that's a pattern I've noticed across people who follow these kind of people or follow these kind of gurus online. Yeah. So you must be wondering that I'm just ranting about this problem for so many minutes. What's my solution? Get good positive role models. And the first thing is just look for them in your real life. Look at your dad. But I know some people are not fortunate enough to have good dads or good fathers or any fathers in their lives. So if you don't have that, or if you don't have a positive male figure in your life, you can look up to some of the following people. Hey, let me get my notebook. First is Devin Larratt, the arm wrestler. Now, I'm not even into arm wrestling. I don't arm wrestle, nor do I follow the sport that badly or that passionately, but I do know Devin Larratt. If you don't know Devin Larratt, let me introduce you to him. He's a 6'6" guy, massive guy, 240-50 pounds, right? Insanely strong, and he's an arm wrestler. But what Devin also did was that he was actually a Canadian Special Forces officer, and this guy has actually killed people, 100%. He doesn't talk about because if you are at those kind of ranks, you are not allowed to talk about your service. But he has definitely killed some people. You can tell. But the thing about Devin is that even though he is probably one of the strongest people on the planet, and he is like the number 2 best guy in the world. He's the Vegeta of arm wrestling. But the thing is, he's so humble, and he knows how strong he is, he knows how great he is, and he trash talks. Like if you watch his matches, he does trash talk, but he doesn't cross the line, or he's not arrogant about it. He's confident about it. And you can admire those traits, but if you see this guy personally, or if you follow his YouTube channel, you'll see that he's actually a good human being. I follow his family as well, and he's a really good dad. From what I've seen, good person to look up to. His, if you watch his family videos, oh, also he has been with the same woman since the 10th grade, and this woman has been with him through thick and thin. Because there was a time when they had children, but money was so tight that Devin had to eat apples and sardines. And if you don't know, sardines taste like shit, but they had to do that for a year, and this woman stuck by him. So yeah, you can tell by that how what quality of people they are, and the children are also good people. Like I don't know, obviously I don't know them personally, but they are humble people, and two of his sons, they are also following in his footsteps. One of them is pretty serious about it, and he has a passion that Devin has, but the other one is more genetically gifted. He's bigger, he's taller than Devin and has higher potential, but he's Gohan basically. Sorry for the Dragon Ball references, but it is what it is, and it's 4 a.m. here. So yeah, pretty good person to look up to instead of all of these rappers or gurus. So the second person, Johnny Kim. You've probably seen him on memes. He's that Asian guy who they tell you to not worry about. Johnny Kim, he came from an abusive household. His dad was so abusive that when Devin was 16, the police had to intervene and shoot his dad to save Johnny. Like that, we're talking about that kind of guy. And Johnny Kim, the guy, he was a good student, but he then went on to what? He joined the military. He became a Navy SEAL. You can see that there's a partially torn picture of David Goggins. So if you don't know who David Goggins is, yeah, he's also a good role model, but David Goggins is a bit obsessive, so I'm not going to recommend. Like, yeah, take the good, but he's not someone you can idolize. And I'm actually a David fan. Yeah, back to the topic. He joined the Marines at like 18, and after that he got a mathematics degree. Then he went on to Harvard to become a doctor. He's a doctor, and then he became a NASA astronaut. Insane guy, and he's a good family man as well. I follow him, and pretty humble guy. He's in the top 0.001% of men ever. Not many people are as accomplished, as educated, as learned, or have gone through as much as him. But yeah, if you can go through all of that and still be humble, that deserves some praise. So the third person on our list is Slama Kashyap. If you're a UFC fan, you probably know him. One of the GOATs, top 3 easily. I might be kind of biased, or you guys might kind of call me biased because I'm a Muslim and he's a Muslim, but the guy just screams discipline. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't get into the fighter lifestyle, the drugs, the women. Yeah, and he just focuses on his craft, and he seems like a good person. He leads a simple life. He has a farm, he has his horses, he has his sheep and whatnot, and that's his plan after retirement. And he probably retires in 1 or 2 years. So if you are a UFC fan, just appreciate him while you have him and learn from him. Generally good person to admire or idolize if you don't have someone to look up to. Yeah. Another guy I like to recommend is Luke from The Outdoor Boys. If you don't know, he's the guy. You probably get him on your feeds or on your YouTube pages late at night. He's the guy who camps outside, and he camps with his friends, his family and his sons, and that's pretty wholesome. Yeah, non-controversial guy, keeps his keeps everything to himself. He keeps his beliefs to himself, and just an overall positive guy to admire or learn from. Very good sign of what a good man looks like. Or he's capable. His videos make you feel capable or make you feel like you're learning something. Yeah, and he's also a lawyer, right? And if you don't know, he stopped making videos because he wanted to safeguard his family's privacy, which I really respect. But yeah, he's a lawyer and all of that as well. Who I have on the last person on my list is, most of you probably don't know him, but there's a YouTuber called Basically Homeless, and he makes videos about tech. Not tech exactly. He used to be a gaming YouTuber, but now he makes gadgets. That's how I describe it. Like he'd make robots or just dumb stuff like running a computer on potatoes or making a real life cyborg arm, stuff like that. And he's a religious guy with good values. He's a Christian and a good dad and a good husband as well. Generally, good guy to look up to. Good values, all of that stuff. Yeah. So, and if you're into electronics and whatnot, check him out. Even that stuff aside, values aside. Yeah. Also hang out with good people, good friends, people with good characters, good morals, good ethics. And it takes me to the last part of my video. How do I define a good man or a good man with morals? Simple. People who you'll feel safe around, or people who you'll trust your family members with. I think one of the best compliments I've ever gotten, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but it was a friend of mine, and he said that I trust my sister with you, and that I still cherish it to this day because that's a pretty big achievement. If someone tells you that, hey, I trust you enough that if I leave my sister to you for some reason, you won't harm her. That was actually pretty nice of him, and that boosted my self confidence and yeah, all of that. And what defines a good man for me is someone who's principled, someone who doesn't take BS, and someone who can stand for what he believes in. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the video. Oh, one more personal update. The reason I didn't post for 5 days was because I had this big project for my university and I'm like 75% done with it. That's why I'm filming at 4 a.m. because all of my day goes on working on that project. Also, kind of a small update, but I'm pretty sad about it. If you notice, I wear this shirt in a lot of my videos because I really like this shirt. But one of the biggest downsides of losing weight or cutting was that I don't fit this shirt anymore. It generally looks like a dress now. Yeah, it generally comes up to my thighs now. Like that's pretty whack. Yeah. Like and subscribe.